Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a Q&A today. So I did a question, ask a question on Instagram stories, and you came back with some great questions. And today's video is in partnership with Arla Lactofree, which is one of the partners. I've been teamed up with Arla for quite a while now, and it's products that I've been using for years, genuinely. So just going to get stuck straight into the Q&A. Okay, question one. Do you think you would have had more success doing powerlifting than the world's strongest man? Now, I've always said this about powerlifting. Powerlifting is a fantastic baseline, I think, to get into other sports. I think in terms of accolades and recognition and making a career, I think powerlifting is probably one of the bottom sports you could possibly do. If you're into powerlifting, I'm afraid you're into it because you enjoy it. You're into it because you like the people, the friendship, the camaraderie, and you get the thrill of pulling those big numbers and pushing those big numbers on the platform. That's what powerlifting is. And in essence, I have powerlifted for 10 plus years. That's all I did in the gym was squat, bench and deadlift, and I loved it. I love seeing those figures progress. I love being acknowledged. I love putting those figures out on social media and YouTube and whatever else, but you can't make a living from it. I always ask people, say, why don't you do powerlifting? I'll ask these questions. I know the answers to these, but who's the number one bencher in the world right now? It's Julius Maddox, but not many people will know that. Who's the number one squatter in the world right now? I genuinely don't know that answer. Who's the number one deadlifter in powerlifting in the world right now? Again, I don't know that answer. And that sort of proves my point, is powerlifting is one of these sports that's just, it's not in the limelight. So I think powerlifting over strongman, no. Strongman over powerlifting all day long. Strongman is a sport that is very well received by the public. The thing is with strongman, it's pure strength. It's who's the alpha, and people can't help but want to watch one man best another man in a competition, and do it in such a pure form. Moving weight from A to B, pushing weight from A to B, pulling a plane from A to B. Who's the strongest man on the planet? And that is an accolade that people recognize and sponsors get behind, and you can make a living from it. So that's why I think you'll always have way more success doing strongman than you ever will powerlifting. Second question, who is your current idol? I guess I've had many idols and heroes over my lifetime. When I was a little boy, it was Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Growing up, just with my brothers and watching movies with the family, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a name that got thrown around left, right and centre, even at school. And it's someone that imprinted on me for forever. So Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger was, is, and always will be an idol to me, a hero of mine. Other idols of mine are, believe it or not, one of my biggest idols was Brian Shaw. He, 4 times world's strongest man. But not only that, just the way he conducts himself, professional, friendly, positive, and giving, humble. Brian is someone that a lot of people in the sport can learn from, including myself. So Brian Shaw is one of my idols, one of my heroes, and still is as well. So I'd say those two guys right now have imprinted on me the most in my current life. But if I was going to pick one, it would have to be Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's just a guy that's blueprinted on me from a young age, got me into bodybuilding, got me into strongman, and then as I've got into, won the world's strongest man and progressed into the business side, I've now got into business with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's just no end helped me. So I'm very thankful for Arnold Schwarzenegger being in this world and being one of my idols. Third question, you have a very strict diet. Which is your favorite product within the Arla Lactofree range? Because I know you endorse that. I think one of my favorite products has just got to be plain and simple the milk drink, the Arla Lactofree. It is something that's helped me put milk back into my diet without upsetting me. Because in the strongman days, unbeknown to me, I was having gallons of milk a day, and it was upsetting my stomach, inflaming the body, and making me bad. You know, I wasn't getting the true potential out of my diet, out of my body. I think the milk is just something that in general has helped, not just me, but I know for a fact it has helped millions of people around, especially around the UK. Because I've seen the messages, I've seen people thanking me on, on emails and everything. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. So definitely the lacto-free milk drink is a product that my number one. You know, it's replaced a lot of fluids in my diet. Question number 4: how's hydration keeping these days? So if anyone's not in on the joke, I went through a stage of traveling the world a lot, and I was doing a business class flight pretty much every 5 or 6 days, traveling to America and back, or traveling to the Middle East. It was insane, and I went through probably a year period of doing that, and I could never get hydrated. I was always dehydrated, and getting those hydration levels up was just impossible. So every single video I did put on YouTube, I was always parched. You know, I had a dry mouth and dry lips, and always after that hydration level. So yeah, it's going good. Thank you for asking. It's going really good. I've found new ways to stay hydrated. Done a little research on it. Obviously, you got all the hydration tablets and everything, but actually, one of the best things for hydration is milk. You'll thank me later. Milk hydrates you better than water. Google it. You're welcome. Question number 5: what is your plan after the fight? Now, I mean, I've sacrificed a lot through the strongman stages of getting to the world's strongest man in the world, winning the world's strongest man. After that, I went on an incredible whirlwind of endorsements and appearances and business ventures for a couple of years, and TV shows and whatnot. And then the boxing contract came around. So I would say since I was 19, when I set the goal of becoming the world's strongest man, I have not had a day off. I've just been constantly pushing my body, pushing my mind, pushing my soul into a goal. And my wife and kids have never had a choice. My family's never had a choice. They've just had to agree to it and go along with the flow. So, you know what, when I took this fight on, my wife wasn't happy, but she knew what, she wasn't going to stop me. But I feel like once this fight's done, I need to sit down with my wife and basically what she wants out of life as well, because I've been very selfish. You know, I've had an amazing career so far, and I feel like it's been solely me. You know, of course my wife has been amazing with helping me. You know, end of the day, I couldn't do this without an amazing wife behind me doing the food, the cooking, the cleaning, looking after the house, looking after the kids. I would be no one without my wife. So I think I owe it to her after this fight to sit down and discuss options. So the options are do another fight, or go into movies, go into TV shows, or we concentrate on other businesses. But again, I'm going to sit down with the wife and discuss those options. So I can't answer that just now. Right, next question. Can you break down your diet plan at the moment and what goes into it? So my diet plan at the moment is done under the guidance of a man who is a nutrition expert, Nathan Payton. He is a leading nutrition expert in America. He does clients such as Brian Shaw, Martins Lissis. He's got no end of high-end basketball players and boxers and whatever else. So when I started this boxing journey, with the strongman, I just winged it. I thought I ate what I thought was best. Just calories in, basically, and get as big and strong as I can, and it worked. End of the day, I won the world's strongest man, and I lifted the half ton. So what I did worked. With the boxing, completely new game. I haven't got that 10 years to trial and error the food and get it right. So I needed some guidance. I needed to know what to eat. So I sought the advice of Nathan, and the diet now is pretty much, it's quite strict. I get 1 or 2 cheat meals a week, and I mean, when I say cheat meals, I mean not a whole day. I mean, I'll get like a breakfast or an evening meal, and that's one cheat meal. It's all organic, so every single piece of food or drink I put in my mouth is organic, or 90% of it is. It's all wholesome foods, so like, you know, rice, chicken, steak, lots of vegetables, fish. So, you know, it's a very healthy diet. You know, it's a hell of a lot of sort of salmon in there. A lot of like gluten-free products, so sort of cutting out all the ingredients that sort of don't agree with your body, and it's all timed. What I'll say is now is something I'm not used to, is timing the food, is eating food specifically for the time that you are training. So that's made a big difference. You know, when you eat the foods has made a big difference as well. The hydration, you know, being on key of when to put the fluids in, before or after the meal or during. Those things make a big difference. The salts, the vitamins, the minerals. So, you know, and I work with a blood doctor as well. He does my bloods every quarter, and we adjust the diet off the back of those bloods with Nathan as well. So it's a lot goes into it, that's for sure. When and how did you find out about lactose intolerance? Okay, well, that's nice and easy. So, like I said on the previous question, you know, I work with blood doctors, I work with nutritionists. And in 2016, I was working with a blood doctor who did all the allergy tests on me. And things that came back was a lactose intolerance and peanuts. And two of the things I was having most of was peanut butter, like literally a jar a day. And I was having at least a gallon of milk a day, you know, 3 or 4 liters of milk a day. So those two things were making me very bad, you know, very gassy, very sore body, very sore joints, not sleeping well. So it was actually a tolerance blood test in 2016 as to how I found out I was lactose intolerant. And that's when I started making the changes, you know. So that's when my training and my accolade in strongman went through the roof. You know, I went from coming sort of top 10 in the world to top 5 instantly, you know, and you could see it. And there was such a huge gap between 4th place and 3rd place. And I instantly made that gap up in the space of a year. And I'm not saying it's all down to finding out this kind of things, but the accumulation of working on the bloods, working on the diet, getting the training right, all those trial and error over the years, it all came together in 2017, and I just became the perfect strength monster. And I won. What's your body weight right now? Nice and easy. I'm sitting at about 157 kilos. I'm sort of waving in between 155 and 160 kilos. So anywhere from 350 to 370 pounds is where I'm sitting. I'm very comfortable at this weight. I'm able to do, you know, the runs, I'm able to do the swimming, I'm able to do the boxing. It's something that I feel very comfy at, and I do feel like I could fight at this weight. You know, when I'm doing the sparring, my fitness is holding up, my speed's there, my agility's there. So, end of the day, I always say this: if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, you know, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I can punch hard, I can move fast, I'm agile, and my fitness is through the roof. So, I've got nothing to adjust. You know, everyone always says about cutting weight for fights. End of the day, this is the biggest, heaviest boxing match in history, and it's going to stay that way. Next question. Now this is an interesting one. Do you think a 600 kilo deadlift is possible? Wow. Well, you know what? I mean, people said the 500 kilo deadlift was impossible. And bearing in mind, the world record was 37 kilos off the world record when people were saying that. This is another 100 kilos on top of that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be impossible. I'm not going to say that, because we don't know what advances and technologies and whatever else is going to come out of the woodwork in the future. Who knows? An absolute freak may be born. Another Andre the Giant may be born. Might be 10 foot tall, 1,000 pounds in body weight, and he'll just come and lift it one-armed. You just never know. And that's what I'll say, is never put a limit on what the human body can do, because the advances and the mutations that happen these days, and that's what they are. You know, these big massive freaks you see about, they are the mutations of the human race. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, everyone's a mutation of the human race, we're all mutations, but it's some are bigger and stronger and well more built than others. So I think it's possible. We're going to see it in our lifetime? No, I don't think we will, but this may be watched in 1,000 years from now, and it might be a standard warm-up lift due to the advances that they have. So never say never. Right, next question. This is the last one. Best and worst thing about boxing from a strongman perspective. Well, let's go for the worst thing. I mean, the worst thing is strongman. You have to be massive. You have to be, you know, mobile. You have to be just basically built for moving weight from A to B. So in essence, moving around the ring and throwing punches for more than 60 seconds, no. Strongman, you know, that's probably one of the worst perspectives. Is strongman, you are not built to be fit. You're not built to be endurance. You're not built to be fast, agile. You're not built for it. So there you go. The best thing is, I think given the time to build the body up, is probably one of the best things you can do for boxing, because I've never, ever once heard a boxer say, I wish I was weaker for that fight. I mean, one of the best boxers in the world right now is Canelo. Now, you know, he's not a heavyweight, but in my opinion, pound for pound, probably one of the best boxers in the world. And his punching power is surreal. And he doesn't get that from throwing punches, he gets that from training weights and training specific core exercises. And, you know, he is a strong guy. And that transfers over to the boxing really well. So what I'll say one of the best attributes from strongman moving into boxing is the strength. Now, yes, we've got a lot of it, and probably way too much for boxing, but you can lose strength very fast and you can lose muscle mass very fast. So I think to have that huge base and then to dim it down to suit the boxing, end of the day, if you've been 200 kilos in body weight, which I have, you know, 196 kilo, I think bringing it down to, you know, 75% of that, so I'm weighing about 150 plus now, 155, I think it just gives your body that massive sort of leap of strength in the ring. You know, I'm always going to be strong. There's never going to be a time where, as long as I keep doing my training, there's never going to be a time where I'm going to be weak. So, and that transfers to boxing really well. That's one thing I'll say is the core's there. You know, the strength is there for boxing. It's just moving it around now. It's getting fit, it's getting this endurance. But because of my swimming background, the lungs have come back, my endurance is through the roof. I'm able to do those 10 3-minute rounds quite easily now. It's just bringing that agility back, you know, getting these big, huge muscles into these positions where you're throwing body parts that shouldn't be thrown in that way. But again, with the swimming, I've always been mobile, I've always swam, so the mobility and the agility has come from the swimming as well. So it's got its ups and downs, but I think being as strong as I am, and I've done sparring with some good boxers, and it does have its advantages, you know, being strong. You know, a jab can throw them across the ring, whereas one of their jabs doesn't really touch you because of your body weight and your stance and your core strength. So yeah, it does have its advantages. So yeah. Right, guys, that's a wrap. I want to say a big thank you to Arla for partnering with me and bringing this Q&A to you. So thank you so much for the great questions. They were absolutely fantastic. And I just want to wish everyone all the best right now. Obviously, everyone's going through a tough time, including myself. I know it's easy to say from the outside things are going great, but things can be tough for people like myself as well. So I just want to say everyone's going through a tough time right now. Don't judge anyone. Always be nice to people. Keep smiling, keep positive, and keep pushing forward in life. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching. If you like it, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. And I shall see you next time. And stay safe, stay awesome. Big love the beast. Take care.